and welcome. This video is going to be all about Nynaeve Elmira, the young wisdom from Emond's Field. And yes, it is going to be book Nynaeve from the Wheel of Time, not Prime Video Amazon version of Nynaeve. So, spoilers for book 1, and let's get into this. Before we even meet her in the first book, we already know that she is hearing things on the wind that she's not happy about. And wisdoms are usually much older. Nynaeve is super young to be a wisdom. Some might say too young. Nynaeve wouldn't say that. Nynaeve herself takes her job super seriously. This is what she does, these are her people, and she will do what she is supposed to do as the wisdom. She also takes very seriously her authority. People should listen to her. People should obey her. And she is not afraid to back up her authority with her stick she carries around. But the authority she has as the wisdom is not the thing she takes the most seriously about her job. She really does deeply and truly care about her people. She has a strong talent for healing, and she will use that for whoever needs it, whenever they need it, as much as she can. And when we do first meet her in the first book, we're seeing her from the perspective of the young boys, Rand especially, and Matt and Perrin. And these 3 boys don't necessarily see her caring side for them. For them, she feels a little more bossy, maybe like the big sister or the mom figure that they didn't want. And for them, it's easier to think that she cares more about their behavior than about who they are as people. So, imagine their surprise when she shows up in Bear Lawn to rescue them. Now, when she shows up to rescue them, it probably still feels a little bit like that mothery thing they don't want, like, I know what's best for you and you're coming home with me. To Nynaeve, that's not how she feels. She feels like this Maureen person has just whisked them away, has put them in danger, and she's going to go save them. She is also not just a wisdom, but a rescuer. And let me tell you, of anyone from Emond's Field capable of going and rescuing them, she's probably the best person for the job. Speaking of Maureen, Nynaeve is not a fan. She takes a dislike to Maureen from pretty much the first moment that they meet. And I think part of this has to do with Nynaeve's self-image. So Nynaeve, super young to be a wisdom, also very pretty, and I'm sure that people don't always take her as seriously as they should, hence her stick making people listen to her like they should. She is probably constantly having to fight to demand respect, to remind people of her authority, and to prove herself. Because she's young, she probably has to be a better wisdom than someone older to prove that she deserves it. And then along comes this stranger, another youngish-looking beautiful woman who calls her child, just reinforcing the anger that Nynaeve already has to deal with and face with people treating her like she's so young and inexperienced. I think this also explains why she constantly treats Egwene like Egwene is so much younger than she is. And the boys too, who are also a little younger than her. By treating them like they are younger, she's automatically elevating herself to feel older and more mature and more experienced. And I just think all this constantly having to prove herself all the time kind of, at least partially, explains some of her bad temper and why she can be so snappy sometimes. Nynaeve is not afraid of much. She's not afraid of pain or sickness. So when her village gets ruthlessly attacked, she just dives right in to help people, as is her job, but also as is her desire to do what she was meant to do there. But since she cares so much about helping the people she loves, having to tell Rand that she could not help his father, Tam, must have hurt so much. If she could have helped him, she would. Healing people is her talent and her job, but sometimes she fails. She's not a woman who takes failure very well. And now a new PC has entered the campaign. Not super willingly. Nynaeve didn't plan on going and continuing with them. Her plan was to go pick up the boys and Egwene and take them home. She's the hero come to save them from this evil witch person. She is enraged at Maureen, and by extension, Lan, because she is kind of looking at Maureen as the representative of all the evil that has happened to the people she loves and to her village. She thinks if Maureen had never come, then all those terrible things would never have happened. So she's wrong. Worse probably would have happened if not for Maureen, but she can't see it that way. She's focusing all her rage and anger on Maureen. And she basically swears vengeance against Maureen. And it's Maureen herself who gives Nynaeve at least the idea of the way that Nynaeve can get her revenge. Because Maureen reveals to Nynaeve that she can use the One Power. She does not at first want to believe it, but she did seem to have a little more talent for healing than a normal wisdom should have had. And so when she does finally come around to believing, okay, I guess listening to the wind and my extra powerful healing could possibly be the One Power, she only agrees to go to the tower to get training to get stronger so she can get her vengeance against Maureen. And please be super nerdy with me here, because in this moment I feel like it's Obi-Wan telling Luke, you must come with me to Alderaan to learn the ways of the Force. You must come with me to Tar Valon to learn the ways of the One Power. And now we get to the part where Nynaeve has to deal with something that she's probably not dealt with before, or if she has, we haven't seen it before, and that is men. Specifically, one man. And this is a man not from the Two Rivers. The men in Nynaeve's home of Emond's Field, if they are younger than her, see her as the bossy older sister mom type that they don't really want to have to listen to. Older men probably think, oh, what a pretty young lady, but kind of annoying. Do we really have to listen to her? But they will go to her for what she can offer them. Can you tell me if my crops will succeed? May I have a potion or a tea for my cough or whatever? She's useful, so they tolerate her. But Lan sees her differently. And it's kind of his attention to her that makes her interested in him. He doesn't see her as bossy or annoying. He sees her strength. No one should have been able to follow his trail that he was purposely trying to hide. And the fact that she could is impressive, and it makes him take notice of her. I think she also impresses him because he can tell she doesn't like Maureen, but when it's obvious that Maureen is draining herself to help everyone else, Nynaeve wants to help her and heal her. Nynaeve is a healer. She may not like Maureen, but she will do her job and she will heal if she can. This causes a little contention between them. Maureen says there's things you don't understand. She's right. Nynaeve doesn't understand. She just wants to do her job and heal her. And Lan is witness to Maureen revealing to Nynaeve that she could in the future become an Aes Sedai, which Lan highly respects. So now he's looking at her in a very different light. She's not just the small town village girl that she was before in his eyes. So Lan sees her strength, her bravery, her passion, and where other people might see her thorns and prickles, Lan sees her as a lioness. But as far as actual chemistry between these two, I was very surprised by the conversation they had around that fire that one night in the Blight, because I didn't see any chemistry happening between them. As someone who's read some romance books before, I'm going to say it takes a little more than a mutual respect of each other's tracking abilities to really do it for me. It kind of reminds me of Li Shang in Mulan, the animated one, where he says, you fight good, except you track good. But what he does say to her by the fire in the Blight is good enough for any romance novel, I think. I will hate the man you choose because he is not me, and love him if he makes you smile. Among other things. He also says he won't have her and won't be with her and basically rejects her. All this time she's been falling for him and gaining respect for him, and she's telling him, are you really going to make me the one to beg and to ask you to be with me? He just kind of shuts her down and won't even consider a relationship with a woman because he thinks that the only thing he has to offer is widow's clothing. Nothing of himself, nothing of her happiness, doesn't matter. No, it is better for you if you don't have me. Sorry, Nynaeve. So I'm going to say that book 1 ends with Nynaeve not really accomplishing anything she set out to do. She didn't take the young people from her village home. She didn't get the man. She didn't get revenge on Maureen. So to see what happens next with Nynaeve, you will have to read book 2, and you can come back and watch my next video on her from book 2. Speaking of which, subscribe to see more fantasy character videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!